only one thing that is holding you back from having everything that you've ever wanted in this life. And I'm gonna get straight to the point and tell you that that one thing is your internal narrative. It's that simple, but it is so overlooked. Your internal narrative, or your internal critic, should we say, is gonna pop up when you least expect it in life. And usually it's when you're on quite a good path and things are going well for you. It feels like the little devil on your shoulder telling you that
you can't do this, you can't do that, that's embarrassing, you're not qualified, that kind of life is not meant for you.
I know you all know what I'm talking about. And the sad thing is that a lot of us underestimate the power of this internal narrative that we have because we've lived with it for our whole entire lives. We don't know anything different. That's just how we see the world and how we see ourselves. However, this voice is the determining factor of whether or not you're going to see success in this life. This voice is going to determine whether you believe in yourself enough to show up for yourself on the days that things aren't so easy and the days where you're not necessarily reaping any rewards. If you're going to continue to listen to your inner narrative and your inner critic, you are going to just be a victim of your mindset and how you think about things, and it's going to hold you back from doing so many things in life because you're not going to feel like you have the confidence to do them, and you're not going to feel like you have the self-belief to see these things through. When I tell you that my inner voice was the meanest little bitch you've ever met in your entire life, she would constantly tell me that I can't do things, that I am not capable of doing things, that I'm embarrassing. She would essentially just tear me down, and it was exhausting, and I didn't even know that there was anything wrong with it because that was just how I viewed myself. I had no awareness of the fact that this voice was dictating the trajectory of my life. It was only when I learnt the things that I'm going to tell you in this video that I changed my mindset completely, and I completely flipped my life around. I went from self-critical and miserable to believing in myself and being the happiest that I've ever been in my entire life. If I'd have let myself continue to listen to my inner critic, I would be in the same position I was in this time last year and the year before that. All it took for me to change was a little bit of a change of perspective, and that perspective is what I'm going to offer you guys today. So if any of that sounds like it resonates with you, keep on watching because this video is going to be so helpful for you, especially if you're really struggling to get the ball rolling, to just make a start. So first of all, we need to understand where this inner critic comes from. Now, as you might have gotten from that introduction, I was really speaking about the inner critic in a very negative way, and in a way that it's kind of showing up as the devil on your shoulder. A lot of us actually might feel the same way, and we might see our inner voice as something that wants to tear us down and that wants to self-sabotage us and stop us from doing the things that we need to do. But the reality of it is that nothing about you is evil, okay? Nothing about you as a person wants to tear you down and wants to see you fail. That is not how humans are made. We are made of love and light. That is our natural state. All your inner critic is a wounded inner child within you who is trying to keep you safe on a daily basis. She's trying to protect you from things that she once went through that brought about a negative consequence that she didn't like and it didn't feel good for her. She wants to protect you from these things. So in order to protect you from these things, she is going to show up as that inner critic voice and tell you, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, because she was told that once in the past and that was awful to hear from somebody else. So she's protecting you. That is essentially the thick and thin of it. It is genuinely just a survival mechanism, and a lot of us have lived in survival mode for a long time. Like when we were children, our main aim was to just keep peace and happiness and just to feel safe within our surroundings, especially if that's not the reality of our lives. When you change the way that you look at your inner critic, you can actually start to make some change from a place of love and not from a place of self-deprecation and hate and resentment. You're gonna find that if you're trying to make any kind of change in life by being hateful and resentful towards yourself and angry at why you're acting a certain way, it's going to feel so resistant. You're not going to be able to move forward in life because you're just instilling more hate into your inner narrative. You're validating that inner narrative or that inner critic that's telling you that you can't do things. Let's say, for example, you're trying to lose weight and you've been trying to lose weight for so many years now, and you've said, I'm going to stick to this diet, I'm going to do this, this. I've got every single piece of information that I could ever need that will help me lose weight. But then you find yourself in a position 2 years later, following all of these fad diets, none of them worked, none of them were sustainable, and you find yourself in the same position you were in before. You've not made any change. And a lot of the time, it's because we try to make change from this place of just hating ourselves, wanting to make ourselves look completely different. So I think we could agree that it is actually a lot easier to make change from a place of loving and accepting yourself than it is to make change from telling yourself that you're so shit and basically basically being your inner critic's fucking hype girl. So if we're gonna go a little bit deeper into where this voice comes from, there are honestly endless factors that have contributed to the way that you look at yourself and the way that you look at the world. It all stems down to your socialization, so your education, your peer group, your family life, your religion, your community. There are so many different factors that contribute to the way that you view the world. When we're children, we are just trying to figure out this thing called life. We're trying to figure out how people work, how things work, how we can get through life in one piece. That's essentially our only aim when we're a child. So when you think about the amount of people in this world who have so many negative limiting beliefs and their own insecurities, their own traumas that they've been through, they are naturally going to project those onto you. Even if it's not intentional, they're going to naturally project those onto you, and you're perhaps going to take those on as your own insecurities and your own limiting beliefs. If you grew up with parents who said that money doesn't grow on trees, you're most likely going to believe that money is a limited resource, and you're going to move from that mindset. You are going to move throughout life thinking that you need to cling on to money, and it's the same with everything else. It's the same in the way that we've just been socialized. That is what constructs our perception of the world. A lot of people don't actually gain this awareness of that, and they just accept their circumstances. They accept that they are who they are. They think the way they think because that's just how it is, and they've got a very closed and limited mindset. They might not even know it. A lot of people do just live in that automatic kind of brainwashed state and thinking that they can't change things. This is where you have the advantage, because you are now going to realize that your mind is flexible. You can change your life at any given moment. So I think realizing that this voice isn't evil, it's not something that is trying to tear you down, it's not the fact that you are destined for bad things in this life and that you don't deserve anything. It is literally a compilation of everyone else's limiting beliefs and insecurities and what they think about themselves. Once you realize this, it's going to allow you to operate from a place of love and compassion and kindness towards yourself, rather than being really mean towards yourself and trying to force yourself to change, even though that's clearly not working. The second thing that you need to consider is that your inner critic, or your inner child, or your inner narrative is frozen in time. What I mean by this is that our inner child may be living in the past. In fact, she is living in the past, because that's all she ever knew. That was her reality. Your inner child is still within you, and she still feels those same things that she felt when she was younger. So with her still being within you, she is going to show up as the inner critic voice and tell you, no, don't do that, you can't do this, you're not capable of that, you're not qualified for that. And it's going to stop you from doing the things that you need to do in order to get to where you want to be. Let's say, for example, when you was a kid, you got a little bit too excited about something, and that was met with a very negative response, which was a response at the time you were not expecting. You was expecting your excitement to be met with excitement, but instead it was met with shame, and it was met with embarrassment, and it was met with even a telling off. You weren't expecting that response, and you had no bad intentions in being too excited, but somebody else took it that way, and then they made you feel rubbish about it. Because you felt that thing and it didn't feel nice, you are going to store that in your brain, and when you're moving throughout life in your adulthood, when a situation comes up where you want to get a little bit more excited and you're feeling really excited and you really want to let that out, you're going to keep that in and keep it to yourself and not show up authentically, because you don't want to be met with backlash again. It's almost like our inner critic wants to criticize every single little thing about ourselves so that we're not ever taken by surprise again. Nobody else can ever tell us that we're embarrassing or that we're cringy or whatever. We want to be prepared, and we want to have our guards up, which is why your inner child is going to stop you from doing certain things that put you out of your comfort zone, that make you feel like you could be vulnerable and susceptible to embarrassment. Your inner child is so clever, and she is going to protect you at all costs. What your inner child does not realize is that you are now a lot older, you are wiser, you have gone through things in life, and you are also built to deal with a certain level of adversity. So your inner child is trying to keep you safe because she still thinks that you are that child. She still thinks that you need protecting and that you are vulnerable. And the reality of it is that as we go throughout life, our skin thickens, we go through things that aren't that comfortable, but we get stronger from it. But because our inner child doesn't know that, she's frozen in time, she is going to continue to show up as the inner critic and tell you to not do things when you know that you should be doing these things. Once you become aware of this, you are going to start to realize that you can overwrite that narrative. So once I realized that the voice of my inner critic was completely outdated and was not serving me anymore, that allowed me to move throughout life with with a lot more confidence and bravery, I guess, to do things that are uncomfortable and to do things that are potentially going to leave me in a vulnerable situation. It's so important to not shelter ourselves too much to the point that we're not actually doing the things that we need to do. And that was me for a long time. I genuinely did not dare do things because I was so embarrassed by everything. I don't know why, but everything felt so embarrassing. And I've said this in another video before, but like, I just didn't dare do anything because I was just trying to protect myself from that horrible feeling of embarrassment. I just did not want to deal with it. I did not want to deal with starting my YouTube channel, even though I knew that I wanted to do it for so long, because I didn't want to deal with the fact that other people would think I'm cringe. And I also did not want to deal with looking back on previous videos and cringing out and being embarrassed by myself. I did not want to confront that side of me. But what would have happened if I didn't do that? I would literally not have gotten anywhere. I would still be miserable and I would still be sat there complaining. The thing is, if we don't take these risks in life and if we don't overwrite our inner narrative, we're just not going to get anything done because it's always going to try and protect us and keep us safe. And that's the voice. So say when you know that you should be eating healthy, but you've got that voice inside of you that tells you, oh no, get a takeaway, get a McDonald's, get some sweets, get some chocolate. That will make you feel better right now. And you deserve that because you've been through so much. We think that we are being self-loving in that moment. We think that we are looking out for ourselves and protecting ourselves and doing what's best for us. But we know that that's not actually the best thing to do. We know that it is better to go for the healthy meal if we've got a goal of wanting to be a healthy human being. So just operating with a little bit of discernment and knowing when and when not to listen to your inner voice and your inner narrative, and just being open-minded with it. Otherwise, you are going to allow your inner narrative to completely control your entire life. And if your inner narrative is a negative one, that is just going to lead you into a negative life, into a life that you do not want and that does not serve you. So what do we do? Well, it is time for you to get out of your own way and create a new narrative for yourself that actually serves you in reaching your dream life. The majority of people will never gain this awareness and this understanding that they are actually getting in their own way. They will just continue to get in their own way by playing small and by living by the rule book of their inner narrative and their inner critic, and be a victim of their shitty life, the life that they didn't want. Most people will always follow this inner narrative and they will always play small because they don't want to take risks, they don't want to put themselves out there, and they genuinely just feel like they can't do something because they've told themselves so many times that they can't do it. When you're playing small in your life, you are stopping yourself from building the confidence and the courage to go after what you want, which is what a lot of people do. And by having the insight of this video, you are going to now have an advantage over that, and you're going to now know that you can rewrite your narrative. It's so easy to play small in this world. It's so easy to get away with doing the bare minimum and living a relatively happy life. When you think about it, there is actually no real reason for us to be busting our asses trying to achieve this amazing life when we can literally get the same feeling of said amazing life on our phones. We can go on TikTok and we can literally experience the whole entire world without even having to get onto a plane. We have all of the tools so that we can envision and visualize and imagine and daydream about our dream life, which feels good. It feels almost just as good as actually living out our life, but we're not actually living it. It could be so easy for you to settle for that and for you to just carry on living your life being a daydreamer and not actually bringing things into fruition. And for me, that was definitely the case. I spent the majority of my life as a chronic daydreamer. That's all I wanted to do because that was my little safety bubble. When I was daydreaming, I felt like my dreams were protected, like they were in this protected little bubble where I didn't necessarily have to worry about those things not coming true. Daydreaming essentially has an 100% success rate in making you feel happy because your dreams and everything that you want and that you're visualizing is going to be safe in your mind because it is 100% possible in your mind. But when we think about success and actually going out and achieving those things, that doesn't seem like there's an 100% success rate. It seems like there is more risks involved, and we'd rather just not try and tell ourselves, well, I could have lived that life, but I didn't try, rather than trying, potentially failing a couple of times and then feeling really bad about it. But what if I told you that success and the life that you were dreaming of has an 100% success rate? This is the mindset and the perspective that I've always had, and I've definitely strengthened it over the past year, but I've always had the mindset of if you want something bad enough, you can have it. You can 100% have it. The only thing that is stopping you from having it is yourself and you getting in your own way and your own inner narrative. That for me is my facts. That is my reality. That is how I view the world. I've always thought like that. I know that there is absolutely no way that I wouldn't achieve the life that I'm dreaming of and that I want with the amount of work that I'm doing and the amount of intention and effort and thought that goes into curating my dream life. I just know that it's gonna happen. I might not know when, but I know that it's gonna happen. I have that unwavering faith. And you're not gonna have that unwavering faith if you are listening to your inner narrative and you're listening to the voice inside of your head that's telling you that you can't do these things. I feel like I'm saying this in a really round the bushes kind of way, but I really just wanted to reiterate and repeat myself a little bit and just tell you how important it is for you to get your mindset in order and to change your perspective and to change how you view the world. It is completely possible for you to rewrite your story and for you to tell yourself a different truth. So like what I said about from feeling like there's not a 100% success rate with going for your dream, but feeling like there is a 100% success rate in just daydreaming and protecting your dreams. Once you flip that round and you tell yourself, well no, there is a 100% success rate of me going to reach my dreams. I know it's gonna happen. It is 100% gonna happen because there's no choice. There is no option for it to not happen. Once you get that mindset, you're really gonna operate so much differently. You are going to, of course, come across obstacles and things are not always gonna be easy. There are gonna be days that you feel like a piece of shit and you feel like you're not good enough and that you can't do this and you can't do that. But it's on those days where you need to strengthen your self-belief and you need to strengthen this new narrative that you're writing for yourself and tell yourself that you can do it. And it is so important for you to just have these new belief systems in place so that they can keep you strong and they can keep you grounded in where you're at. Knowing that you are gonna feel up and down all the time, you are always gonna feel the ebbs and flows of life. So knowing that information, knowing that there are gonna be some days that you wake up and you feel rubbish and you don't have any confidence in yourself and you literally feel like you look in the mirror and you want to cry, knowing that that's completely all down to perspective and that is completely all down to how you are feeling on that day, and it is not a truth. It is not the truth at all. Like when you tell yourself that you can't do something, that is your inner narrative. When you start noticing this and having that awareness, you will actively start to change the way that you see the world, and before you know it, your narrative and your mindset is going to be so strong and you will have the most unwavering faith that you will reach your wildest dreams, and it will feel effortless because that's just a way of life. That's just the way that you think about things. So I hope this video offered you a little bit of insight and a little bit of perspective. I did say it in a very roundabout way and I did definitely beat around the bushes a little bit, but this was the mindset shift that completely changed my life and it allowed me to actually start making action towards where I want to be. If I'd have not have had this insight and had this perspective and this mindset shift, I would not be sitting here right now filming this video. I would probably be sat watching Gilmore Girls or something like that, eating chocolates for breakfast and being depressed because I'm not living the life that I want to live. But instead, because I changed my narrative and I changed my mindset, I am living in my purpose. Every single day I wake up and I'm doing something that I love and I'm doing something that has a meaning and that I know is going to get me to where I want to be in life. And I think the most important thing that I want you to take from this video is that you can do whatever you want to do. You can literally achieve anything that you want to achieve in life, but you just need to believe that you can achieve it. If you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. It is never going to happen. The more you tell yourself every single day that this is possible for me, and you repeat affirmations and you tell yourself positive things in place of the negative things, it is really all about neuroplasticity. Something that I did was whenever a negative thought about myself came up, I would immediately notice it and I would nip it in the bud and replace it with something that was more serving for my desired dream life. So really become conscious of your negative limiting beliefs and just start to counteract them. Make it just something that you unconsciously do. Like when a negative thought comes up, you counteract it and you think of something differently. The more that you do this, the more that you're going to strengthen your mindset and you're going to strengthen this new narrative of yours, and the easier it's going to feel when you are working towards your goals. goals. It's just gonna feel so effortless. I hope this video helped you guys, and I hope it offered you the same kind of perspective that it offered me back in the day. I feel like it was about this time last year that I was having these revelations, like, oh my God, I am the thing that is holding me back. There is no one else. There was literally no one else telling me that I couldn't do these things, because my dreams were all in my mind. I didn't even tell anybody about what I wanted in life. So there was no one telling me that I couldn't have these things. It was literally myself. It was how I perceived people to think that I wouldn't be able to do something. And it was essentially just me telling myself that I can't do that. And it was me telling myself that on my bad days, I would have to surrender to these limiting beliefs and accept them as gospel truth when they are not gospel truth. If you focus on keeping your mindset strong and keeping that tunnel vision and that focus on your goal and working towards it, you are gonna get there, baby girl. You are definitely gonna get there 100%. I am on this journey with you, and I am so excited to be on this journey with you so I can literally show you what is possible and that you can achieve it too. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and leave a like and a comment. I would love to get speaking to you guys and see what you thought about this, and let me know what your dream realities are that you are manifesting in. What is something that you really want to bring into your life and bring into existence? If you put it into the comments down below, let us all manifest it for you as well. Let us as a collective help you bring that into existence, because I share with you guys what I want to be doing, which is obviously this and YouTube and helping everybody. And I genuinely feel like as a collective, it's easier to manifest things in, like when you've got other people backing you and manifesting for you essentially. So let me know what you're manifesting, and I'll be rooting for you. I'll be manifesting alongside with you. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.